Welcome, everybody.
Where did I stick that? I stuck it so.
Do you hear me?
So Teresa, what do you do, Teresa, on the edges?
I go around.
To avoid that layered look.
I just go around on the side.
Just keep poking it until it just
Yeah.
goes. I'm at a live something or other.
What?
Doing needles.
Are we-
Felting. Live something.
Okay, we're testing this out. You maybe want to type like technical difficulties. We're working on it, and I'll see if that has any sound now. It's just like so hard. Yeah, you're good now. Okay.
Okay. I don't know how to go back to where I was. Not there.
We're good at this. That one. Okay. So sorry, I was freaking out because I was trying to test the audio over on my laptop, but my laptop was still Bluetooth to the speaker in my office. And so that's why I had no sound on my laptop. But then my husband texted me and he goes, "No, it sounds great. I can hear you guys."
Wow.
And I was like, "That's strange." So
Good.
thanks for that.
Yeah.
Kick us off officially now.
Thank you for joining us. We're here in the gym at the Nome Schoolhouse, and we are going to be felting together hearts. I have started one here, and I'm going to show you all in a little bit here how we make these hearts exactly. And we are at $10,000 today for Giving Hearts Day. Our goal is 15. And we just want to thank you guys so very, very much. If you purchased the Heart Garland Kit and you're joining us here, we really, really appreciate your donations, and thank you so much for your support. We are going strong, hoping we get to the 15,000 by midnight tonight. So just stay tuned and we'll keep you updated. Kristen was going to hop in here and give you updates on how we're doing as far as our goal. And I'm going to just, if you've never felted before, I'm going to give you some pointers on how to get started on needle felting. So first you have a needle. If you can see this needle, I can show you again on the other camera. But it has little barbs, and the little barbs on this needle pull the wool in. So as you're stabbing it into the wool, it pulls it in, but not back out again. So it felts it together. So the more you poke it, it becomes more solid as you go. So I can show you a little more close up how that works. So here's a heart that I have already started. This is some wool roving that comes from the sheep on my farm and is processed right here in our mill. So this is wool that has been washed and carded, and this is what comes out as roving. So here is the cookie cutter that you would have gotten in your kit. You place about this much wool in your cookie cutter, and you try to evenly space it out in there as you're poking. And you can always add more wool. And the most important thing is you want to go all around the edges. so that you get the heart shape. And then the next and most important thing is you don't want to felt too much before you peel it up off of your surface. This is our wool felting cushions that we sell here and that we designed. You possibly have our foam cushions. So you can let us know where you're tuning in from in the chat. Or if you have any questions that I'm not covering here. So you can see I'm trying to go all around the edges so that it keeps its heart shape. And you peel it up and you flip it over, and I stick it back in the heart so that it doesn't lose its shape. And it takes some time to get it nicely felted. And once you get it felted pretty well, then you can go around the edges and make it, just smooth it out really nice. And you can also, if you're not happy with how thick it is, or if you can see holes through parts of it, you can add more wool at any time. So I want mine to be a little thicker. I want it to be more pillow-like. So I'm going to add some more wool. So this is what you do. Just keep adding more as you want to, make it a little thicker if you want it to be really flat. You can also do this. We have coasters that we sell here, felt coasters. You can felt a little heart shape onto a coaster, and then in that instance, you'd want it to be a very thin amount of wool so that it still works as a coaster and doesn't get too thick. Okay, so I'm gonna continue felting like this, and we'll come back to me when I get a little more felted. Kristen's gonna chat with you a little bit, I hope.
There I am. All right, sorry for that little bit of fumbling. Hopefully we're good. Checking some sound levels. And hopefully my husband will text me if he can't hear me and I can try to update. But I'm coming over here to Mariella, who is joining us for some needle felting, and she's a pro, mainly because she's part of the reason this will exist, because you work in the mill here, which is part of the for-profit. The fiber mill is part of the for-profit side, but how long have you been needle felting?
For about a year. Last year I did this with Teresa, and it was a lot of fun. So I don't do a lot of it, but this is always fun to join.
So now,
part in.
gotcha. So you've done the hearts, some small projects, nothing too big?
Right. Too big, just little cookie cutter projects.
Yeah.
Something the kids can enjoy, just put them together.
Oh, those are cute.
Yep, it's just fun to do. And the kids can do it with any shape.
Gotcha. So you just have these cookie cutters at home.
Yep.
And you've done it.
Yep.
There.
So
And how long have you worked in the mill here?
I've been down in the mill for like a year and a half.
Okay.
Washing and dyeing and making the belts, just doing lots of wherever.
So you maybe washed that wool and maybe dyed it red.
Near Helen,
You were
I would
Helen?
say, is part of creating this beautiful roving.
Yeah. Chris came
Yeah.
down and set out all the balls of roving, which we just thought were gorgeous, all sitting out there. I think you saw some behind me earlier, but all these beautiful balls. And then we'll weigh them out and you get some in these kits, right? So there's some fluff. If I have some time, I'll make some as well. So I will try to send you back over to Teresa and see what's going on there. Teresa, do you want your hands or your face?
My hands, and I'll just touch it when I'm
All right.
Felting kit? Yeah.
So I've been, have been continuing to flip it, and I've added a little bit more wool so that it gets thicker. Then I stick it back in to make sure it keeps its shape. And then once you get it so it keeps its shape, you can go around the edges. Like this. And then felt the edges nice and give it more of a pillow shape. Otherwise it'll come out where it'll have like a square edge, kind of sharp edge, where this rounds it out really nice. Then you can also add like more details. I want this to go in a little bit more here to get more of a heart shape. And this is still, in my opinion, it needs a lot of felting yet. If you want what you're felting to not get fuzzy and stay smooth and nice, it needs to be felted very, very well. And it also is very important on what kind of wool that you use when you're felting. And our Romney wool here felts the best, as far as I'm concerned. There is many other different types of wool that you can felt with, but they don't seem to hold their shape and get as solid as our Romney wool does. And I've tried several. A lot of the wool that you'll find in kits out there, they have merino wool. Merino wool is soft and wonderful. It just doesn't felt very well in that it stays squishy and doesn't get solid. So you can tell this is still pretty squishy, and I like to have it nice and firm.
Because Sarah had planned to come with a bunch of her college kids, and then she backed out last year from Florida. Sarah Cindy was at the university learning something, and so she didn't come either.
And at this point, I can check with my heart shape and make sure I'm staying on track.
Yeah. Oh, so she must be coming down.
And I think it's keeping its shape pretty well, so then I can just keep going around the edges like this.
Yeah, she's one of them. Getting better at this little changing. That's good. Yeah. And now what I need to do is mark on there which is which date when I put that needle.
Is that the stone
Yeah.
right there?
Right there. Date when I changed it. Because I was sporadic. And then I would remember what part was I did.
Do you want to, Mariella, do you want to show me what your question was? Show me your heart that you were wondering how to fix it if it gets that square edge on it. Hers are very thick and they're,
You keep adding, and you get this line here.
oh yes.
You must make that disappear, right? So it doesn't look like there's layers
So you
there.
can, I just go around the edges And hers is very firm. She does a good job with the firm felting. Yeah, like how you rounded out this top, I would do that. You could do that on this side too.
Okay.
I'm getting red on your white. But, you know, and if you're still seeing lines, you can always lay more wool over it
Oh,
to cover up any lines. That's what I do, just a tiny bit so that it doesn't change the shape at all.
makes sense.
So we're gonna pause the felting. I'm gonna continue making this thicker just so you can see how that works, and then I'll be back.
All right, I'm going to interview another one of our needle felters. And I've heard our video's a little bit choppy, so sorry about that. But it sounds like the audio is still coming through pretty well. So I'm going to come visit with Gail here. Gail is one of our board members. You've been on the board kind of since the beginning-ish, right? Over a year,
Yeah.
which is about, the university is about 2 years old. So, yeah. Since we really started rocking and rolling.
Right.
'Cause, yeah. But how long have you been a needle felter, Gail?
See. In 21. I came and you made a duck with Teresa. in a
Oh,
class.
at the birding retreat thing.
No, before that,
Oh.
the year before that. When, it's 21. I came and made a
Oh,
duck
yeah.
with Teresa. I got a friend. Yeah. The other part wasn't even done yet. We were in here. We had to be in here.
And the rest of the school wasn't done yet.
The rest of the school was done. So a friend and I came and did it. We had no clue what it was. We never even heard of it. But I drug her along to a class. And we had a wonderful time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you also like to weave, right? You have your
Yes.
own loom.
Yes, I do. That's what I would like to do more of the needle felt because I'm not as good at needle felting. But Teresa thinks she can teach me.
Because when we have our vendor fairs here and have demonstration tables, you're always our loom demonstrator.
Yeah.
You do a good job at that.
I'm more of an enthusiast than I am a productionist. But I'm trying to get back into weaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why did you join the university board? I guess what made you be like, yeah, this place is cool. I'm going to be a part of this team.
Well, I like everything about fiber arts. Like I said, I used to weave a long time ago. And you always had to go so far away to get anything or to do any classes. You had to go to New Jersey. So I was very excited when it came within an hour of where I lived. And then also, Teresa and I realized we'd known each other 30 years ago.
Oh,
And hadn't seen each other for 30 years. But once we got connected, she used to live in the town I lived in at the time. And so we just reconnected that friendship. And so Teresa asked if I'd be on it, and I'd do anything Teresa asked, except make an elephant.
oh, no? You're going to come to the safari this year and make a giraffe?
I am going to crash the safari.
You're going to audit?
I'm going to go to like the campfires and the fun things.
Not the felting part?
I don't think I have the attention span for a giraffe. We'll see by then, but I don't know.
So you appreciate the schoolhouse and the university because without it, you couldn't find like the fiber arts you're interested in really
No.
in this area.
Right, and the knowledge and the connections,
Mhm.
I guess.
Community is a big part of what our
Yes.
nonprofit wants to do too.
So, right. Yes.
Yeah. And you're a part of the subcommittee that's working on the youth program
Yes.
education part. So I kind of work two jobs here. I work in the for-profit and the nonprofit. And on the for-profit side, the schoolhouse, as the venue coordinator, I get a lot of phone calls from schools, 4-H clubs, FFA, FLA, all those letters. And they want to come and see the fiber mill and do hands-on things. And that's really all a part of our for-profit. And the price to shut down the production of the fiber mill, isn't really school field trip friendly. So the university realized this was an opportunity for us to step up, and we're going to cover some of those funds, and Gail and a few others are working on making that all kid friendly and hands-on and a lot of different things. So so far you guys have had some good ideas, and we're just starting planning, but
We're really trying to implement more. I'm on early childhood, so K through 3, lower elementary. So that's where I'm focusing on how we can keep those kids interested and learn and find out more about the whole process, both historically and what we do now.
Yeah.
And I know that age child prefers hands-on as to listening to someone explain what the mill does. So that's where we're aiming. So
yeah, and some kid-friendly activities, because needle felting isn't always for the young kids. There is a point of stabbing themselves. So we'll have some other hands-on hands-on activities with maybe not sharp objects.
Right.
Yes. So if you're at home and you have a small child and you're fearful of bringing them here, trust us, we won't hand them a needle felting needle. There's something about paper clip spinning, which I've never seen, so I'm intrigued to see this unfold later.
Do some carding of the wool and hand carding. And there's some wet felting projects we've looked into, little weaving projects. There's lots of little different things that we could do.
Nice.
So, for hands-on.
All right. Well, we'll send you back over to Teresa. I think she can hit the button to switch herself over. So we'll see what happens.
Here we are. And I've added some more. Made it a little thicker. And it's getting to the consistency that it's felted pretty well. And then what we are doing with these is we're stringing it on yarn and making some pretty garland. And I might have to jump and do that next, after our next break. I am going to, in case anybody's just joining us, I'm going to show you how to get started so that you can felt along with us. This is the cookie cutter. I think it's a little bigger than what you got in your kit if you ordered one from us. And you just take a small amount of wool like this from your kit and you put it into the cookie cutter. It's best to not start with too much, and you try to evenly put it in there, and then you just start felting with the needle. My needle is in a holder, that's why it looks different. It's the same needle in here. It has little barbs here, and the barbs only go this far up on the needle, and that is what is pulling the wool in, so that you only need to poke in that far. And it's important to go all the way around the edge so that you can get the heart shape. And then you need to make sure that you stop felting and peel it up off of your cushion before it felts right to the cushion and you can't get it off. And then I take it and flip it over and put it back in the heart so that it keeps its shape, and I continue felting. And then I peel it up and flip it over again, stick it back in to the cookie cutter. questions?
Good.
Huh?
Have you
Oh,
looked at
I'll go look
comments?
at questions. I'm gonna set up our
I could see them
newcomers.
on here at one point, but I can't see them anymore. I don't know where to look. I don't want to mess it up. Just had another board member arrive. He's going to felt with us and your family. And I usually like to felt it pretty well before I add some more, just so I know I already have the shape. So if you do have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Okay? Oh, it's so hot. Yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you to everybody that purchased these Giving Hearts Day garland kits. This will be recorded and you can watch it later too. I am felting on one of our needle felting cushions that we've designed. It's made of solid wool and will last forever, where what we included in the kits is a cheaper option, and that's foam, and they tend to wear out really quickly. But they work good if you're just trying needle felting for the first time and don't know if it's for you yet. Good. Do that.
Okay. So, I can check what we're up to.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we haven't been able to check for a while.
We've been busy setting up computers and everything.
Yeah. Took us a while to get this 3-camera thing down.
Yeah. So I think Teresa mentioned it before. It is Giving Hearts Day today, and the university, Nome University, is a nonprofit. And so we're raising some money today, and we have $7,000 that's been given by friends of the university to be matched for today, to encourage people to give and to have their gifts make a bigger impact. Because if you give 10, we get 20, you give 20, we give 40, you give 100, we get 200, so on and so forth until we've used up that $7,000. And then we're trying to eke a little bit further because we'd really like that 15,000 is kind of a goal. And we're at 10,820. So a little ways to go yet, but there's plenty of night left. And you do that by giving through givingheartsday.org. Go to that website, and if you just search for Nome, N-O-M-E, make sure it's not a G. We're not a little bearded gnome.
Yes.
And then you can make a donation through there.
Of any size.
$10 or more. I think $10 is and $10 does still make a difference. We really appreciate it, and we love seeing people who want to support this, support the fiber arts, and then also agriculture and industry. I mean, we talk about those things too with Teresa raising sheep and Chris, the other co-founder, with the fiber mill. So, how
We
long
wanna-
have you raised sheep?
Since 2005 is when we got our sheep. Yeah, when my daughter asked for the lamb for her birthday when she was 8.
You just shared that over at your Bear Creek Felting page.
I
There's a
did.
cute picture of Libby, who's our chef here on site, so it's kind of fun seeing her childhood photos. I haven't told her I like her picture yet, so we'll
She'll
see
like that.
if she'll be mortified or not. But
Yeah, so some people may not know what Giving Hearts Day is if they're not from the tri-state area.
that's true.
So, and Kristen is very familiar with it. We did this last year, if you've been following since then. But
Yeah, so Giving Hearts Day was started this area. They will say it's the oldest giving day. So kind of like Giving Tuesday after Thanksgiving, if you've heard of that. Minnesota also has Give to the Max Day. And so a different foundation helps put this on. They do the website and they do a lot of trainings with nonprofits to teach us how to fundraise well. And yeah, we have to raise so much match. We have to meet different criteria to be a nonprofit that's allowed to be a part of Giving Hearts Day. And it's mainly North Dakota and Western Minnesota nonprofits that are a part of this. And there's hundreds of nonprofits that become a part of this, and they're vetted by this foundation who puts this on and does everything. And so yeah, we've raised match, we've been sending out emails, communicating with our donors better, all because of this. And it's just really kind of an extra boost to get things going and get out there. So if you're hearing background noise, we have some more needle felters joining us. Yeah. I guess recently we talked with someone about like really talking about the mission and why we care and about what the university does. And I know one thing you shared more of is like you really like using the university to connect with women kind of in two ways. Community, because you just set up that Maker's Day for like the schoolhouse side, but that's still kind of university-ish too, that makers community.
Yes.
And then also just like women in agriculture, because we talked about how it's easier for like the sons on the farm to get brought along, but women don't, you know, historically inherit the farm or learn a lot of those things. Some do, but it's usually a little bit harder.
Yes, yeah, and so we would love to step alongside women in the rural areas that want to start their own business. And it was a lifesaver for our family. It changed everything for us when I started our business. So that, you know, who knew you could sell, and who I never anticipated it either, but sell things out in the middle of North Dakota, all over the world, and it really helped our family, and we would just love to help other women find something like that for them. So if you're out in a rural area and you need support, that's what we would like to do with the university, as well as all the other things.
Awesome. Any other tips you got for the garland? We're going to switch back to that for a little bit, and then there's another
Yeah.
board member here that I'll interview in a little bit, but maybe if anyone else has hopped on or a few more tips or I don't know.
Yeah,
What else
yeah,
you
I can
got?
share a little bit more. I'm gonna need some.
Back
If
to
you
the
got me
cards.
a needle and
Oh,
yarn,
needle and
then
yarn.
then I can show them that.
I'll do that. Okay.
So here is my heart that I was making first. You can see it shrunk a little bit as I felted it. So I'm gonna continue putting this back in here and felt it. And it also shrunk because I went around the edges to make them nice and smooth and poked in from the sides a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more because I like them a little bit thicker. Steve Feltz. He does. He should make a heart. The stuff is up here. Oh, well, now you're felty. So here I'm just adding a little bit more wool to make it a little thicker. You still have to remember to peel it up and flip it over.
Look at Dick first. Look at Dick.
So you can see right there's this line here around the edge. The more I felt, that'll just disappear.
Hello. Hi. We're just looking. Oh, no
Sure.
idea what this is.
It's felty. Oops. So we're making these hearts
Oh, that's how you
just
do
like
it.
that.
Those are hard. So you just use a little like a cookie cutter.
And that helps you to keep the shape.
Sure.
You just go around the edges.
Oh my gosh.
And then this is the needle that has little barbs in it, so it pulls the wool in but not out again. So the more you poke it into the
The
wool,
tighter it gets.
it just pulls it together and it gets more solid.
And that's how all of this felting is done?
Yes.
Like this and the whole thing?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. And then you just peel it up off the cushion, otherwise it gets felted down.
Okay. Oh.
You flip it
oh.
over.
Okay.
Did you flip it over there, dear?
Yes.
You just did.
Yeah, I continue flipping it. Otherwise it
Trying
gets
to get
stuck
so
down.
Nice and dense.
Yes. So this is the one I worked on first. And then we're going to make them into a garland that will hang out.
We're gathering a crowd. People are coming down from Thirsty Thursday to come check it out. So it's fun answering some questions. So that's what's going on here. Did you have something else you're showing them, or I'm going to switch
You
to my
can,
phone?
yeah, I'm going to continue felting, so.
All right. You can like watch me switch to my phone. It's like
behind the scenes. All right.
Yeah,
So we got some more people joining us. Some people who are just coming down to watch, and some needle felters. So here's Teresa. Chris is busy serving pizza for Thirsty Thursday. She's such a dear doing that while we run the tech and the stuff down here. But I'm going to head over this way as well and see if we can talk to Sarah a little bit, who's one of our board members. So sorry if the audio starts getting a little echoey with all of these voices, but let me grab her and not lock my camera. Yes, nice to see you. I'm sneaking in behind you. Hi, this is Sarah. She's one of the board members at the university. She's here with her lovely family. I think I've met your husband before. Yeah. So, yeah. Have they needle felted before? No. First time? How is it? Yeah, it's beautiful. Very nice. It's coming along. You just need a little bit more. It's a little fuzzy. I've learned from Teresa too. Like I've always was amazed when I made things. I always thought mine always looked a little fuzzy. And then sometimes she'll use scissors or even a razor to shave them to make them not fuzzy.
I just thought you had to keep going.
Well, you have to shave them. They still have to be pretty firm. They're gonna pull. But when I made my bison, I used a scissors afterwards. So I gave it a little hair.
I bought a bison kit.
Yes.
I got big plans.
Got a bison kit. All right, Sarah. So what? You've been on the board for
A year.
a year, and give us a little bit of your background, and then what kind of brought you to the university, or what you liked about the university.
Sure. I'm a teacher at NDSU in the apparel, retail, merchandising, and design area, and so this is what I teach, and I'm able to do those same things. So it's important for our students, and my students that are in textiles, to know where the fibers came from, and this is the mission of the university. So it works out well.
I think the first time I met you was when we did Gnome Coming. You set up a booth for NDSU, and I just knew you were part of the board, and that you're part of like the. I knew someone who like had you because she was like in fashion. So like, oh, fashion, okay. And then she comes in with like microscopes and fiber samples, and I'm like, oh, she's fashion and nerdy. I like it.
Well, it's fun to look at the fiber.
Yeah. So, and you had a lot of kids activities then too, very much drawing them in, and that was really fun to watch. So, gotcha. And now you are on our subcommittee for next year's Gnome Coming, which is
2023.
yes, which is what we do here during the Savaka weekend. So if you're around this area, it's a big craft fair in the area nearby here in Fort Ransom. So we've been starting to do things on that weekend with some other things, so people have a variety of things to go to. And we've done vendors before, but now this year we are probably going to lean and showcase our education a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's kind of a thing.
Plans are still being made.
Yes, I think you guys have met once, but
Yes, we had a lot of fun things. land that we
A lot of fun.
right. A lot of
We like
fun.
puns here in Nome and the university and YouTube and
The cheerleaders was the
oh yeah, Nome. We're definitely leaning heavy this year into the Nome coming theme. Yeah,
mascot.
yeah. Maybe crowning a sheep king and queen.
Right,
We'll see what happens. Like there was a lot of ideas.
Animal
thrown out.
parade.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So stay tuned
Right.
for that. All right, I'm gonna go see. Did you work anymore on your heart? Did it get a little less fuzzy? See the update. Oh yeah, it's a little less fuzzy. Look at that. How would you rate needle felting? Something you're gonna do all the time now?
Probably not, but it's still fun.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. All right, I'll come back in and check in with Teresa, see what she has, and then maybe I'll go look. Check on our comments and see how we're doing Giving Hearts Day wise.
So I've been felting away over here on this second heart. I'm just going around the edges to smooth it out a little bit.
No, she told me that she's been here to put the moon together. Yes. I had walked in one day and I said,
And you can also, sometimes you don't get the exact shape right from the cookie cutter, but you can tweak it going around the edges like this.
what's your name? Steve. Okay, I'm gonna say, I saw your friend Steve today. And Christy. And Christy. Okay, no, that's just a little much. That's great. Saw your friend Steve and Christy. No, not you, your friends. Oh, this looks great, I love it. Next time we'll come and do the course. Look at that.
Oh, there. So she hasn't interviewed you yet. You need to. She'll be back. So. Very good.
This one. See, hers are so much harder.
I don't know. Yours is pretty good. So this is one Chris's husband Steve just made. And it's a littler heart, and it's extra thick. And I'm going to go around the edges and smooth the edges and round the edges a little bit. So you can see what I'm doing is taking away the squared off edges and just rounding it into a pillow. And I'm making this a little more, defining it a little bit more. Now I'm going to show you how to string them on for a garland. So I have some yarn here. And it's kind of tricky to get it to go like in the middle, otherwise they flip upside down on your garland. I'm gonna go right through the center here. So then they'll hang nicely.
Oh, now you're putting it through. I wondered how you
Yeah.
did that. Okay. I
So
bought
just
this kit.
String. Oh, good. Yep. And so you gotta put it down a little farther so that otherwise they flip upside down, which this.
You were out of the big Papa pillows.
Oh, we were.
Yeah, it's all right. I was gonna go back downstairs and take it, but I did not.
Oh, is there one? Is there one in the
I did
basement?
not. This is very Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I just thought I would never be able to do it.
Oh, it's very doable.
Yeah, I bought the kit. I went out to get it. I got this. There's somebody put a check in the box. On that table up there.
Okay, so I've got this strung on.
Those are so I didn't know that that's
Here
how
they
you
are.
felt it. Oh, and that cute.
This is cute. Let's see if we can. Sorry, I didn't warn you. Chris was like mid-bite. Okay, can we get all of us on? Yay! All right, so that's They're staying in the hotel tonight. We got to take them on a wonderful mill tour. They've been sitting in the history room, knitting, all that fun community, that kind of thing. So, which was fun. We had a lot of community this past weekend. We had a retreat that we put on, and then another 8 women who just came up for the schoolhouse and did their own thing. And especially after the university, that Hearts and Flowers retreat, I didn't get to see them throughout the weekend, but I just even got to check them into the hotel rooms. And there's something about people coming together for the same purpose. They all became like friends. I did get to take one lady back to the airport, and she was from Arizona. She braved the North Dakota Fargo winter from Arizona. We brought her a coat and hats, and she made a little snowman outside. It was cute, but she loved it. She just said the community she built here was awesome, and that was so much fun. So, and we're just shy of $11,000 for Giving Hearts Day, but I think can kind of wrap up our live. I've been interviewing board members. You've been busy serving food, so co-founder, how long have you been on the board?
Let's see, I've been on the board since its inception. Yeah, and it's an honor.
And
Because the minds that are on the board are amazing. They all come from different genres and different, areas of skills and
Expertise.
passion and expertise. And yeah, it's amazing.
And what about the university is important to you? I mean, all of it. But.
You know what? Driving, I had to run to Fargo, and driving back, I was just thinking about how the university has evolved into, it's like now funneling exactly where Teresa and I originally envisioned it, the education. And to see the youth come in. We did a 4-H, just last Sunday we did a 4-H youth, and they were 2nd and 3rd graders that were like sponges to the, down in the mill that was like, and then to see the adults coming together, and it's just, yeah, it just, I will cry, so I'm not going to talk anymore. But yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to see it all coming together.
Yeah.
And so thank all of you guys for being a part of it, those who've supported generously, those who even just tune in and, support and clap and cheerlead. We love all your support. And yeah, we'll see the rest of the night goes. Giving Hearts Day goes until midnight Central Time. Like I said, we're trying to get up to that $15,000. And we've been talking a bit about the youth education and doing it here for local students, but once we get that off the ground, we've already talked about how our phase 2 is we want to provide kits that we can mail out all over the country, kits and videos and resources to students who aren't local, and see if that's something we can do. That's phase 2, so that's coming in a little bit, but if anyone's tuning in from across the country going, well, why should we care? I don't live in North Dakota. That's something that's coming, and we're looking at expanding that way. And yeah, anything else I missed.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you.
all.
Thanks.
God
Everybody that's
bless you
given.
all.
All right. Well, let's see if we can. Don't you guys? Do we end on like your YouTube?
Oh.
What's
Ready?
your?
1, 2, 3. That's all, folks.